I want you to go to KSLNewsRadio.com and check out the live feed that we have. This is from Chopper 5, Taylorsville High School, where a group of students have left school and they are gathered on the bleachers at the football field, and they are carrying signs that say unity. They are carrying American flags. I've seen some Mexico flags. Well, I think that's their own car. We're watching protesters at Taylorsville High School, a bunch of them sitting on top of a car. I think that it's got to be one of their own cars. They're not like jumping, like trying to destroy it. But they have, it appears that they're leaving the area, but we're going to continue to follow that. You can watch the live stream at KSLNewsRadio.com. It appears they're going somewhere. Do you have any idea?
They're going back to their neighborhood.
So they would go back to Kearns High School or wherever else?
They would go back to Kearns or to West Valley or to Magna or wherever they're from, because these kids are not Taylorsville High students.
Right.
Taylorsville High students will stay at Taylorsville. They actually closed the parking lot and didn't allow anybody to leave with a vehicle at Taylorsville High. So unless you didn't go to school today, you couldn't get your car out of the parking lot or get your car in the parking lot.
Right. Amy, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I was just going to say, so I was in that procession on the way there, and there were kids hanging out. And I mean, as a parent, you're just like, I want to be everyone's mom. Get your seatbelt on. Get in that car.
Yeah.
This is not worth dying over. And I noticed police were taking pictures of them. I'm sure to maybe at some point come back to them and say, here, as I have talked with my daughter about this in the wake of the election, to me there are productive and positive things you can do to make people feel protected and loved and supported. And there are things that are just futile, and then there are things that are just dangerous.
Yes.
And so I'm assuming there will be some conversations about that. But I did notice there were plenty of police officers on hand. They were great with the kids. I mean, I think everyone needs to remember these were, by and large, it was 95% teenage kids.
A lot of police presence, as I mentioned. We've got students and parents outside the school right now, concerned, of course, about what is going on here. But according to the Davis School District, that student this morning came in inside a classroom, shot that gun into a ceiling, and then that student was taken into custody at some point following that incident. There have been no injuries reported thus far here at Mueller Park Junior High School in Bountiful. But again, a lot of police presence here at this time as police here are getting the situation under control.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Many schools in West Valley City have blue ribbons tied around their property. Granger High School Principal David Dunn says they wanted to honor Officer Brotherson, who went to West Valley schools.
Our SBOs took time during the week to create some posters. We made the announcement for students to come dressed in blue in support, so that they would come dressed in blue today. The posters were signed by many of our students.
A large picture of Officer Brotherson is in the main office of Granger High School. He was a graduate.
KSL News Radio. It's Drew Steele filling in for J-Mac today on KSL News Radio. A somber day today as the procession moving from the Maverick Center for West Valley Police Officer Cody Brotherson and making their way to the Valley View Memorial Park right now. If you watch on the KSL News Radio app, if you happen to have it, we are streaming live from Copter 5 and you can see the procession right now. Mark Juke with KSL News Radio is actually along the procession right now. Where exactly are you, Mark?
Drew, I'm at 4100 South and 2700 West, where the first part of the procession has just ended. This was a procession involving hundreds of police cars from all around the state and really all around the West, Idaho, Wyoming, Nevada. I think we saw some from Arizona as well here, all here to pay tribute to Officer Brotherson.
You see some folks saluting. You see
the line of officers making their way to Valley View.
It's one of those images. It's kind of hard to express the emotion of what goes behind it. When I was sitting in the traffic center and I saw that they had carried the casket out to the hearse, and you knew these were the final moments when he's making his way to his final resting place. Yeah. But the utmost respect that's just given at this time. And it's not just from the officers, it's people in attendance, and it's everyday citizens who are grateful.
And is the drug problem in Park City any greater or lesser than any one of the other school districts in this state right now?
I mean, I would say no. We're no different. We do have a little different demographic up here, just the way every community does. But in terms of the drug or substance issue, we're not that much different. If you look at the numbers that are put out by the state, we might have a little higher use of alcohol or marijuana than, say, someplace else. We might be a little bit above the average, but we're not any different than any other community out there that has high school age kids.
The KSL Crime Watch starts now. In Salt Lake County, one of our primary concerns, especially with the warmer weather, is residential burglaries. Unfortunately, commonly people leave their garages open or their doors open or other access points. This allows individuals to enter the home and take property. The reality is residential burglars will seek an easy target. What a burglar is looking for is a home that appears to be unoccupied or infrequently occupied. Some of the items you can use to secure your residence include exterior lighting, especially lighting that is activated by motion sensors. Interior lighting that is triggered randomly. The more lighting you have, the better. Barking dogs, trimming your shrubbery and ensuring that your windows have a clear vision from the exterior rather than hidden by those shrubs. Signage that indicates that your home is protected by an alarm company, whether it is or isn't. If you see something that tweaks your interest, a car that is unusual, an individual that you haven't seen in the neighborhood before, really any suspicious activity, you should report that immediately.
One of the volunteers, Freeman Stevenson, took some photos and some video of his experiences there, and a lot of them contacted the YPG through Facebook before they arrived over there and basically got the details and the arrangements and what they would do. They went through some training where Freeman says they were told how to put together a machine gun and told how to put together a rifle and fired a few shots, and that was about the extent of their military training. And the graveyards are full of graves of soldiers, obviously, who died in combat. The video that he took with his GoPro shows some of the tension that happened in typical day-to-day operations. In one video, a civilian is approaching this group of fighters and they're trying to ward him off, but he is not understanding them. And so they get to the point where they actually fire a weapon in his direction. A couple of times it hits a barrier right at his feet before he finally gets the message. He's carrying some items and he has left the items on the barrier, and some of them anyway, and then finally he gets the message and walks away. There's one person in the lead of this group basically shouting commands at this man, firing a shot. Finally he moves away. But that kind of demonstrates the tension that was involved in the kind of, even when things weren't necessarily high conflict.
We're looking at a couple of people standing up on the overpass holding American flags. One of them, it looks like, it's kind of hard to tell, but dressed in, it looks like dark green clothes as the sun is just now coming up on them. And he's standing there and he's saluting cars as cars drive by underneath.
It's a beautiful sight. And this has happened before on Veterans Day. I don't know if it's the same person, but he is holding a United States flag above the overpass there. So as cars are driving underneath 2200 North on I-215 West, they may, if they look up, see this man or woman, I can't tell from here, holding a U.S. flag on this Veterans Day.
We have breaking news on KSL News Radio. The cow is still alive. This is Redwood Road near I-80 at the Love's Truck Stop. Dave Cawley?
Yeah, Jeff. So we are looking at this cow on this amazing Chopper 5 video. If people want to see, they can pull up KSLNewsRadio.com or the app, KSL News Radio app right now. What's been going on for about the last half hour, we've been watching this cow running around. It is generally in the area of Redwood Road and South Temple. What it did is it came off of I-80 onto Redwood Road, and it's basically been just crossing traffic there on Redwood Road, going into lots, running into fences. Right now we're looking at the Diamond self-serve parking area, the valet stuff there.
For the airport?
Well, it's down near the airport, but it's not on the airport grounds. But it's that Love's truck stop that's right at that major intersection. Now, this cow has been running back and forth, running into cars in some cases that we've seen. People are trying to corral it down, but it is panicked. It is running wild. People need to know if they're in this area, slow down, keep your eyes open, watch out.
We seem to be getting pretty close already to what we would normally see here in Utah.
Yeah, so let's kind of back up and just give a perspective on what we typically average, right, in terms of snowfall and at the airport where they measure, the official measurement at the airport. So if you look at what we average in terms of snowfall for the months of November, December, and January, I've looked at the numbers. It's a little rough, but I mean, if you tally it all up, we're right about near the average. So we've been kind of overdue, actually, for a snowy season. And here's another stat for you. We're still looking at the final numbers at the airport. They've had guesstimating around 8 inches of snow out of this recent 2 days, at the airport. So that's January snowfall. The average snowfall January is about 11 inches. So with more snow coming tomorrow, we'll be pretty much at the average here for the first week of January. So anything that we get for the rest of the month is going to put us over the top, a snowier than average January. And, just without looking at all the hard numbers here, we've not had an extra snowy season or month, for that matter, for a long time here.
What a day for you. What a day when it comes to these pollings. First of all, how are you feeling today? This new poll comes out. The numbers look very promising for you, sir.
Well, we feel very good about it. Of course, we put in a lot of work already, so it's sort of, that reward you get after putting a lot of effort in.
On the screen here, we're looking at the Bears Ears Buttes in southern Utah. These two formations are at the heart of a possible new national monument that we're hearing might be declared by the Obama administration next week. Now, there's been a lot of debate about the Bears Ears, whether or not they deserve federal protection under the Antiquities Act. And just to give you an idea where they sit in southern Utah, let's take a look here at Google Maps. This looks like a bunch of green, some roads, you have no idea where it is. So I'm going to zoom out here. The closest feature that you'll see is Natural Bridges National Monument. This is an existing national monument that covers a very small piece of area that is west of Blanding. So if you've ever been down in San Juan County, the small town of Blanding, Bears Ears sit right here in this area, but a national monument would be much, much larger.
And it don't bother me if I say it, and I don't care if everybody hears me. I think everybody here probably feels the same way I do.
We thought, maybe her idea of Christmas and A Christmas Carol is a little bit different, so we tried to place ourselves in her world, and maybe this is the type of Christmas she's dreaming of.
Oh, what a happy time. A joyful time of year.
Go back to wherever the you come from, lady.
She's dreaming of an all-white Christmas,
Tell them to go back where they belong.
just like the ones she used to know,
I'm sorry, but that's the way I feel.
where the migrants aren't there to get in your hair nor see strange people you don't know.
Speak English, you're in America.
She's dreaming of an all-white Christmas.
You don't know it, learn it.
With every racist rant or slide.
Probably on welfare. Taxpayers probably paid for all that stuff.
Now her days fill with worry and spite. Now that all her Christmases are white.
Go back to wherever the you come from, lady.